hemorrhage conditions, huh? So the management. So there's four things which are very important. Means that step by step we have to keep in mind. First, we have to identify the hemorrhage. Okay, means when you have the patient. Okay, so you have to identify this is the patient of the hemorrhage either or not. Okay, so how you identify. It's simple. If it is external hemorrhage, okay, so then it is obvious. There is the visible blood. You can see that. Okay, then you can say, oh, this is the patient of the hemorrhage. Okay, but the problem is there in the concealed hemorrhage. Okay, so if you have the patient which are uh, which are going to the in the hypovolemic shock. Okay, and you have no other sign symptoms, means other features or any history of having any kind of the fluid loss, just like patient has no diarrhea and no dehydrations. Okay, you have not any history, patient have not giving any history or anything. Okay, any features, any kind of fluid loss, then you must consider it as the this is the hemorrhage. Okay, means if there is external hemorrhage, then it is obvious, you can see that okay, this is hemorrhage. If it is internal hemorrhage, then first you think the patient condition. If the patient is in the hypovolemic shock and there is no feature of any fluid loss, any history of fluid loss other than blood, then you must consider it as the concealed hemorrhage. Okay, then if you get that then immediate resuscitations, identification of the site of the hemorrhage, and then you have to control the bleeding. Okay, so next you got the identifications. Okay, means you have to identify you already have identify that patient. Okay, this is the patient of that hemorrhage. Okay, and then now you have to start resuscitations. Okay, so in the external hemorrhage, and you can see there is a wound, there is a visible bleeding is there. Okay, so the first thing you have to do in the external hemorrhage, you have to give the pressure, direct pressure or at the site of bleeding, so that you can give the time. You can give your more time to transport your patients to the hospital, and it will start a means resuscitation process start with that pressure only. Okay, means you are going to stop that bleeding by the direct pressure at the site of external hemorrhage. Okay, and along with this you have to secure that ABC of the. Okay, what is ABC in an emergency? Airway, breathing, and circulation. Okay, so along with direct pressure at the site of bleeding, you have to secure the ABC of the patients. Okay, and then so how you to secure the ABC means you just scare you just see that airway of the patients. Okay, patient is breathing properly. If there is any obstruction, any then you have to do that access that airway. You have to clear airway. Okay, either can by the endotracheal tube. If the patient cannot breathe its own, you have to intubate the patient. Either by endotracheal tube, either you can give to the director thoracotomy. Okay, so director means closing, so patient can take the breathe. Okay, so along with ABC and the C means circulation. So for the securing the circulation, you just give the a large bore IV cannula to give the IV access and start giving the IV fluids. Okay. So most importantly, if the patient is losing the blood, the most accurate fluid is always is the blood. Okay, but it is not possible every time that if patient is losing if anyone patient is losing blood, so you can give them the blood. Okay, sometime you don't at that time, emergency time, you may not have that facility that at just patient is losing blood, so can you give him the blood. So at that time that there already I have discussed you that fluid therapy, there is two type of the fluids are there. crystalloid and colloids. Okay, so in that hypovolemic shock or the hemorrhagic shock, crystalloid are good. Okay, if you if you don't have crystalloid, then whatever fluids you have to start giving them, okay, to start that resuscitation process. And along with this, you have to send the blood of that patient for the lab and prepare for the cross matching, and you just that inform to the attendant, then they must prepare for the blood transfusion. Blood donation means arrangement of the blood. And side by side, you have to start the close monitoring of the patient. Okay, so you can that see the response of your resuscitation. Okay, it's clear now. Direct pressure, okay, and clear ABC, AB by the breathing airways, okay, by the endotracheal tube or tracheotomy, and then give the large bore IV access to give the more and more crystalloid fluids. Okay, send that sample for that blood transfusion, means you arrange that blood for that patient. It may require in the futures. You have to inform that attendant, and side by side you start close monitoring, that just like central line and eye blood pressures, uh, heart rate, ECG, all these things means to monitor your resuscitations. Okay, next. Next, identify the site. It is very important in the case of concealed hemorrhage. Okay, in the revealed hemorrhage, when the external hemorrhage is there, then you can easily identify the site is there. But if the hemorrhage is concealed, okay, so you must identify the exact site of bleeding, so so that you can plan out that how you have to going to control. Because if there is bleeding, then you must have to stop the bleeding to save the life of patient. Or because resuscitation has that you resuscitation can give you the only more time to plan out the things, but resuscitation is not the treatment. Okay, it just supporting treatment of that bleeding. Okay, that you can plan out the things, you can make the arrangement of that things. But if there is a bleeding, then you must have to stop the bleeding. So to stop the bleeding, you must know where it is coming from. Okay, suppose any patient has hemoptysis, meaning blood is coming to Mm, that esophagus, means coming from. So where is coming from? It is from that esophagus. Esophageal varices is there. Either it's coming from the perforated peptic ulcers. Okay, understand na? So because perforated ulcer, peptic ulcer has different plan management, and the esophageal varices may have the different plan of management. That's why you have to do means and how you identify with this history taking. Suppose if patient is having history of taking NSAIDs, and or the patient is known for that GERD. Okay, then if the patient is hemoptysis, then most likely due to the ruptured peptic ulcers, perforated peptic ulcers. Okay, so that's why that in the meantime, with the proper history and examinations, you can identify the site of hemorrhage. Okay, suppose the patient has a blunt trauma in the abdomen. Okay, in the lower abdomen and in the epigastrium, site of the hit, where it suppose patient is in the right epigastrium, then and patient having features of the intra abdominal bleeding. Okay, means that hardness is there, tenderness is there, patient is hypovolemic shock. Then you can say there is the injured liver. Okay, if it is in the left side, left iliac region, then and the patient having the blunt trauma, then and patient is going to hypovolemic shock, then you can say that patient may be the of the splenic rupture. Okay, that's why do you do some examinations, some in the meantime along with resuscitations. You can with that you can take help of the CT, some radiography to identify exact the site of the because that's why you can plan out the things. You have to go to laparotomy, open laparotomy, either you can treat with endoscopy. That's why to know the mode of the treatment, you must have to know the exact site of the bleeding. Then final last steps to control the bleeding. Okay, so I already told you that controlling is the only thing which can save the life of the patient. If the patient is losing blood, then by the controlling of the control of that controlling that bleeding is the only things which can save the life of the patient, and that can save your patient. uh, if you within timely you are not stopping that hemorrhage, then your patient lands into that triad of death. That then it's very difficult to save the life of the patient. Okay, so what are the measures of the bleedings? It depends on the amount, site of the bleeding. Okay, so that in general that absolute rest is required if the patient is losing blood. Okay, if any kind of the movement can aggravate the bleeding, it can dislodge the blood clots. Okay, so absolute rest is very much required. Okay, second thing, with along with process of resuscitation, you start means you have to make arrangement to move your patients in the hospital which has all the facilities of that investigation and the resuscitation and blood bank, all these facilities. So moving your patient towards the hospital is, it should be the second step. Then in that emergency situations, you have to avoid all the unnecessary investigations. Okay, suppose if patients come to the bleeding and you are doing the HIV test, or the some other test, so that is not means you are doing the vitamin D test, that is not required at that time. So avoid all this unnecessary test, just directly focus on that to controlling of that hemorrhage. So to just you can do that investing which are which can assist you in the stopping of that hemorrhage process. Okay, then you next steps you do, when you know the site, then you have to stop that bleeding. Okay, that can be now the amount of blood loss and that condition of the patients and availability of the facilities, you choose the should choose the method of that bleeding. If any small amount of bleeding is oozing here somewhere in the, then you can go with that medication. Suppose if the patient is hemorrhoids having the bleeding. Okay, so that hemorrhoidal bleeding, it's also bleeding, but because patient is losing blood daily by day by day. So in that conditions there is also bleeding. So but that condition is not at so much emergency where this situation is required, and that condition you just control by the medicines only. Okay, just and sometimes the patients have that blood loss due to that disturb is the coagulopathy. So you just to correct that coagulopathy, if the suppose the patient of the dengue have a very less amount of platelets, or the any patient of the thrombocytopenia where the platelets are very less, then that patient can easily blood, so patagial hemorrhage is there. So that type of bleeding you have to control with the medicine only, no surgery is required for that. Okay, but if there is huge amount of blood is uh, bleeding is there inside, so that should be controlled by that surgical procedures. Okay, so that coagulopathy correct, either the surgical procedures. Next thing, if the patient has gross trauma, very heavy patient have underwent in a large trauma, either in very big surgery, just like any kind of transplant or any grave surgery where the abdominal is ruptured, abdominal intestine is ruptured, means say a very huge trauma. So in that condition, that surgery and that all that management is taken to two steps. First step should be to stop the hemorrhage, and in the next step, you are thinking about that reconstruction or that repair of that process. Okay, so suppose if any patients having accident, I mean, and any kind of the trauma where that that abdomen is open and the intestine is cut down and huge bleeding is there. So the first here our first aim is to first stop the bleeding. So that is called the damage control surgery, because if you are not controlling the bleeding and you think to the repair of that organs, then you may lose the life of your patient. Okay, so first to do the damage control surgery means first identify the site of bleeding and you just stop the bleeding, let your patient settle, and then after few times for the 24 hours time or the 48 times, when the patient is little bit settled, organs are doing good job, means every functions are intact, no system is failure, in that condition you may do the definite repair, means you can schedule later the surgery again open and then again repair, uh, do the repair of what is already done. Okay, so here in this condition our aim of the surgery should be first, our aim of the surgery should be to arrest the bleeding. Okay, second, to stop that any kind of sepsis. Okay, means all the process of the bleeding control must be sterilized. Okay, suppose if a patient has trauma and you are mere just doing suturing, means you are doing good things and you are controlling the bleeding, but you having the your technique is faulty and either the instrument are unsterilized. Okay, so what we done, you are controlling the bleeding, you are trying to good with the patient, but you can do that, but it will last, finally patient may go into harm, because you that is patient get infected, then it comes, it can harm more than that initial. Okay, so along with this control of bleeding you must to control the sepsis, then protect from the further injury, and then these all three steps, if you arrest the bleeding, you have controlled the sepsis, and you have protect the means further there is no injuries going to any part of any body, any system, then nothing to do, just wait and watch, patient will recover itself. The our work is finished here in the in that patients. Okay, so here this is the very small topic but very important topics. So now if you have any question you can ask. Is anyone there? Naveen? ज्योति?
जी सर।
इफ्तिकार? क्या हुआ, कुछ समझ में आया, कुछ भी समझ में नहीं आया, ये बताओ मुझे।
सर
हाँ बोलो
सर।
कौन बोला?
सर ये हेलो,
हाँ कौन बोला? कुंवरजीत?
यस सर।
हाँ बोलो, क्या है, क्या कुछ समझ में नहीं आया, बोलो।
ट्राइड ऑफ डेथ जो है सर, उसमें एसिडोसिस से कोगुलोपैथी से क्या होगा सर उसमें?
कोगुलोपैथी में जो ब्लड कोगुलेशन होना चाहिए, क्योंकि ब्लड कहीं ब्लीडिंग हो रही है तो ब्लड जमेगा तभी तो ब्लीडिंग रुकेगी ना, दैट इज कोगुलेशन।
यस सर।
ओके, तो कोगुलोपैथी मींस दैट the blood clotting, there is any fault in the coagulation process, that is coagulopathy. So that process of the coagulation is become slow in if the patient is in the acidosis or patient is in the hypothermia. ठीक है, अगर पेशेंट हाइपोथर्मिया में होगा या एसिडोसिस होगी, इन दैट कंडीशन तो कोगुलेशन प्रोसेस वो बहुत ही स्लो हो जाएगा। तो जब कोगुलेशन प्रोसेस बहुत स्लो होगा तो ब्लीडिंग तेज होगी, जब ब्लीडिंग तेज होगी तो फिर हाइपोथर्मिया होगा, फिर एसिडोसिस होगी।
यस सर।
ओके, नवीन?
जी सर।
कुछ समझ में आया? एनी प्रॉब्लम?
सर आया सर।
कुछ पूछना है?
सर वो इमरजेंसी में सर एबीसी करने के बाद